What's going on, guys? In today's video I'm going to be showing you how I recreated the Truth and Reconciliation ship from Halo Combat Evolved inside Minecraft. The first thing that I had to do was I had to find a 3D model of the ship that I could reference in order to actually create the ship. So luckily I found this really cool one, this really good one on Sketchfab that I was able to use. I couldn't download it or anything to import it into a schematic, but I didn't feel like I needed to. This was really awesome. So the next step was to pick the block palette. So there was a couple different purple options I had, but what I found was the best was actually blue hardened clay, or I guess it's called terracotta now. And it's just the perfect kind of darkish purple color. So I decided to go with that. Once I had the block palette done, I started working on the outline of the ship, try to get the scale right. I wanted to keep it small enough where I could finish it within a reasonable amount of time, but I also didn't want it to be too small where it didn't look very impressive. Once I did it and built it in creative mode, I went ahead and built it on the survival server that I play on, that I wanted to build the ship on. That wasn't too hard. Pretty easy. Once I had the outline built up, it was time for me to start working on filling in some of the 3D shape of it. So I started adding a bit of depth and adding some height to the top. Okay, so I finished up the top part, got some of the dimensions up that I needed, and it was looking pretty good. A little bit wonky in some of the proportions, but overall solid. Next I started working on the bottom part, which was much harder, because I had to use water buckets to drop down and place blocks on the other sides of stuff. It was not very easy, but I did get it finished up and got the general shape that I wanted. At this point I had completely run out of hardened clay in order that I needed to make the blue hardened clay, so I had to take a trip to our Mesa biome and set up a beacon so that I was able to mine it out. And as you might expect, this is one of the most satisfying things in Minecraft. Mining hardened clay or stone or whatever with efficiency 5 and a beacon is very enjoyable. Once I had the clay, I actually decided to start working on the gray portions of the ship. I initially decided to go with a mixture of regular stone and cobbled deep slate. I wanted to give this some more contrast to the gray bits and make them stand out a little bit. I also started on some of the detail work, such as these fins that come off the front of the ship. These fins are pretty tough because of the strange shape and also the fact I had to work from the underside of the ship. I finished up the floor part, just placing in all of the purple or blue hardened clay that I needed, and it was looking pretty good. Started working on the top part, filling in all of the areas and making sure that I had the shape right for everything. Started putting in some of the details on the top also, some of the gray parts and such. I also started putting in some of the lights. I decided to use sea lanterns for the lights that you can see in the top and bottom of the ship, and I think it turned out really good. It was around this time that I realized that my stone and deep slate mixture was a horrible idea and it looked really bad. So I decided to swap it out for polished deep slate instead. I think it much closer matches the color of the gray bits on the model, so that's what I decided to go with. And just like that, the exterior of the ship was pretty much done. But now I had to start working on the platform that you can see at the bottom. So I began by just making I guess you'd call this sort of a dome with a flat top. For this section, because of the scale is so off, I decided to take some creative liberty with sort of the looks and general shape of this. Once I had the platform done, I started putting in the spikes that sort of come out and curl up to the top. Took a little bit to get the design right, but I think I nailed it. But now I had to start working on the giant beam that came out of it. So for this I decided to use magenta stained glass because that seemed to be the closest to me. But I was not prepared for how much glass that it was going to take to build this. It was very repetitive trying to build this giant cylinder. Pretty boring. I did decide to put sea lanterns on the inside so that it would glow a bit. But yeah, this was not the most exciting build. Once I finished with the outside, I went to the inside and I started working on a bubble elevator that went through the middle. And just like that, the Truth and Reconciliation is done. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed a little insight into the build, and please enjoy this short video walkthrough tour of the ship.